What is going on YouTube? Today I will be talking to you about none other than the deadlift. In my opinion, one of the best exercises that you can do. If you do not already, add this to your routine and you will see a significant amount of results and changes at a fast pace. The deadlift is a huge lift, normally a power or hypertrophy lift, meaning it's normally a heavier lift because it requires a large amount of muscle, but it puts a nice load to your spinal cord, which increases your growth hormone and testosterone, allowing for bigger muscle production. Remember, more muscle, more force, right? Force is mass times acceleration. That muscle is that mass. Build that muscle, build that force. So if you're trying to get stronger, you want to incorporate that deadlift. But also, even if you're trying to lose weight, it uses such a massive amount of energy in a single lift. It is a great place to work on either way. Now, it's very important that you do it correctly, because if you do it wrong, a lot of times you can put a lot of injury on your back, you can slip a disc, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong if you're not doing it right. So follow along in this video and I'll teach you all the tips and tricks on how to make sure you are doing everything correctly, safely, and to take your training to the next level. All right, guys, first things first, whether you're a very new beginner, especially with lifting in general, or you're a professional deadlifter, I highly recommend investing into a weight belt of your size. It does not take away anything from your lift. If anything, it helps keep you rigid, helps engage the core, and prevents you from rolling that back and possibly slipping in disc or hurting your back. So when you get one, you want it to go right on the low of the back, nice and tight. Should go all the way through and be nice and tight. You should be able to stick about 1 or 2 fingers in there so it's not digging into the ribs, but you shouldn't be able to really bend that lower back too much. So that way it keeps it nice and rigid and helps you make sure that you're doing your form perfect and not hurt yourself. Now again, if you're just getting started, I would practice on something lighter, maybe a kettlebell or a deadlift, and then eventually work your way up to that barbell as you start to get the basics down. So let's go ahead and dive into that now. Alrighty guys, now we got our weight belt on, we're all set, ready to roll. We're in a good space, have lots of energy. We're gonna start practicing with our kettlebell because it's a great way to start. If you don't have a kettlebell, you can also use a dumbbell. I would use it vertically by the stem, and that way we can work on our form. Number 1, you want to start with a good stance. Always have a good plant no matter what lift you're doing. So your toes should be forwards with a slight, maybe 10-degree angle outwards at most. Your head is up, your chest is up, your core is engaged the entire time. Now what you're going to do is you're going to grab that weight in between your legs, sitting into your chair. You want your arms to hang straight at all times. Once again, your chest is up, head is up. If you're leaning downwards, you're gonna drag it through your back and you're gonna feel that back. Now, luckily that belt is gonna kind of help prevent you in the beginning. From here, again, you're gonna grab that weight, keep it as close to your body in the midline as possible, head up, take a deep breath out, exhale, push from the heels, drive the hips forwards. Breathe in, come all the way down, breathe out, come forwards. Now, what you wanna watch for is definitely do not round that back, no matter what you're doing, especially when it gets heavy. A lot of people like to stand up and then drag their back through. So again, starting position, head is up, chest is up, back is flat, core is engaged. I'm sitting into my chair, my legs are parallel to the floor, and I'm gonna push from my heels. Take a deep breath out, drive the hips forward, squeeze at the glutes, but don't overextend. Now what you wanna focus on is, again, thinking about your hips coming forwards and engaging it by squeezing at the glutes and breathing out with a deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Again, watch those hips. They go forwards as I drive it. Now, a big mistake people do, like I said, when it gets too heavy, is they stand up and then they drag their back through, and that's when it starts to billow out, and you put all of that pressure into that lower lumbar. Not what you want to do. Big breath in, exhale, drive the hips. Nice control. And extend. Now you also want to make sure you're not bending the arm and ruining it, especially in the beginning. You may be using a little bit of a lighter weight so you can get away with it, but if you try to bend your arm when you're holding 200 pounds, 300 pounds, there's a high chance you can tear your bicep. Not what you want to do. So again, core is engaged, head is up, sit deep into your chair, exhale, drive the hips, breathe out. Awesome. All right, guys, you have graduated from kettlebells and lighter weights. You've got your form down and you're ready to do the Olympic deadlift with the barbell. So let's go ahead and dive into it. The form is very similar. The grip placement on the hands is just a little different. And if you do want to practice this and you don't feel like your grip is strong enough, you can use wrist straps, or you also can use a hex bar, which holds your hands vertically instead of putting it in that forearms in the front. So your grip is a little bit different and a little bit easier to kind of hold on to that weight. Now the standard Olympic deadlift Starts by tucking your feet directly underneath the bar. You want it as close to your shins as you can be, shoulder width apart. It should be shoulder, hip, knee, toe, nice inline stability all the way down. You don't want those knees to go wide, especially those guys that lack internal rotation. You want to keep that line the entire time through that movement. Your core is engaged, your head is up, your back is flat. I can't say it enough, back is flat. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab it palms down with your arms straight. You wanna keep the weight as close to your body as it slides straight up and control it back down. Never let it just take you. You should be in control the entire movement no matter what you do. So start it out, make sure you have a good plant before you even get started. Take a bunch of deep breaths, head is up, chest is up, engage the body. Make sure you have a nice grip in the middle. Take a deep breath out as you drag it up, pushing from the hips forwards and from the heels, right? You want to keep that head up, making sure you're not rounding that back. Once again, breathe in on the way down. Breathe out as you drive it from your heels coming forwards. Nice and controlled. Keep it as close to your body as you can. Your head up, chest up. Once again, from the same concept as the kettlebell. Drive your hips forwards as you're going into it. Sitting in, drive the hips. Sitting in, drive the hips. Engage the shoulder blades, engage the core. Breathe in, breathe out. And no matter what, when you finish, or if you're losing it, come down controlled and relax. Also, make sure not to bend that arm. Remember, you don't want to tear that bicep. Practice it with lighter weights. And as you go into it and you feel more controlled and more comfortable, try going a little bit heavier, but doing a little bit less reps and focusing on that power training. Mix it up, but remember, always be specific to what you want to get out of it and what your style of training is towards your goals. If you have any questions on those, check out the other videos in the links below.